Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. We are live yet again. And we've got something to talk about here tonight. We have Invest 95L in the Atlantic Basin. That might not be our main story as we get through our forecast here this evening, just to try to give everybody an idea of what the tropics is doing and what we may expect over the coming weeks. It's not necessarily looking the best, but it's that time of year. Taking a close look at Invest 95L, we do notice that there is definitely a low level spin here. The only reason that they haven't named this yet is it's still kind of attached to the frontal boundary that it was associated with. So as soon as it sheds its frontal features, it's going to become Dexter. So, taking a look right now is at the 2 p.m. outlook. We've got a 70% chance of development here on Invest 95L. So, I would imagine that the development percentages are definitely going to go up here at the 8 p.m. update. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see an increase. Just looking at it on satellite, taking a real kind of a close look at it, you could see the rotation of the clouds right in here. And what we're waiting on is kind of this frontal feature. There's another little area of low pressure. Well, of course, we've got to get the update there. There's another little area of low pressure that is trailing over in this area right here. So all of that is kind of connected to that frontal boundary that's kind of draping in this way and is causing a lot of showers and thunderstorms down here across the southeast United States this afternoon as well. So going back to the outlook, we also have an area here, out here in the main development region. I'm sure everybody's been talking about this. This has a 40% chance of development, is currently kind of trying to exit the coast of Western Africa there, and as it moves across the basin, it is forecast to potentially develop. The models have been a little more aggressive on it the last few days, but there might be a few inhibiting factors as we go forward with it, and we'll see. I mean, could it develop? Yes, of course, but being a threat out here to land or anything, I've got some serious questions about that. Disturbance number 3, this just appeared on the outlook this afternoon as of the 2 p.m. outlook. We now have a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days, 0% in the next 48 hours. So we're not expecting immediate development, but as 95L, or soon to be Dexter, I would imagine, as this continues to lift off to the north and to the east, it is going to leave kind of an area for an eddy to form along the same frontal boundary that we have 95L on right now. So as that kind of lifts and exits out, we're expecting to see another development of a low pressure here. Now, this one's going to have to be the one to watch, because the component, or kind of the steering flow to get it out to sea, is not going to be there for this one, and that's going to have to be one that we just have to keep a close watch for. Now, the text wise, as you could see here, AL95, we're at 7070. Our MDR wave 040, and our area there off the southeast coast is 020. Now, taking a look, we're pretty much right on schedule. I know a lot of people, we have had a very quiet start to the beginning of the hurricane season, but as you could see, we've got a long way to go, folks, because we are approximately right here. That's where we're at. And we've still got all this to go. So, buckle up. It's going to be, welcome to the hurricane season 2025. We've gotten into August. And speaking of which, as you can see, I have pulled up the uh, points of origin for tropical cyclones from 1851 to 2024 for the week, or well, the 10 days starting from August 1st to August 10th. As you can see, we've got a lot of the potential development here into parts of the Gulf of Mexico, the southwestern and western Atlantic, and then starting to approach the Lesser Antilles here, the Windward, Leeward Islands, a part of the island chain down here that starts the Caribbean. But as you can also see, we're starting to get development out here into the main development region as well. Now, as we continue to go forward, as you can see, that development increases. So our opportunities, we're just now starting to get towards the peak season of hurricane season. We're approaching it. And, the September the first 10 days of September is the highest graphic, to where you're almost guaranteed to see at least one storm develop during that 10-day time period. So I mean, we're right on schedule with the tropics just now starting to pick up, to where we're starting to see more activity in the outlooks. We're starting to see conditions starting to kind of change over from that transitionary period from springtime into more of a summertime pattern, to where now the tropical systems are more likely to occur. So taking a quick look at Earth null, now as we can see, this frontal boundary, I've got it here on the surface. This frontal boundary here has multiple areas of vorticity along it. And as we run this forward here in a couple minutes, you will notice that things, like this one, which will eventually most likely become Dexter, how things kind of evolve. And then the new one, a new area of low pressure, will develop into this region here. Now, please keep in mind that this is the GFS model when I take this forward. Now, at the same time, if we keep an eye on out here on the very, very right-hand side of our screen, these are the Cabo Verde Islands. Western Africa is literally just offside the screen here. Our area that we are going to have to watch is going to come out here, and then we will see how that interacts as well. And I will show you why that we're probably going to see more of a track like this. There is going to be a way for it to slip and kind of come a little bit more to the west-northwest, and maybe get up underneath a particular upper level feature that's going to be out there. But if it has any type of organization to it, it's going to be out here into the central Atlantic within the next few days. So what I want to do is I want to put our trusty green circle here down on Invest 95L. And I do want to take us up in height here. We're currently 1 mile above the atmosphere here at the 850 millibar level. And I just want to kind of highlight how this trough kind of stretches back through. And there's multiple areas of energy that are kind of running along this trough, with obviously being the main feature, Invest 95L. Now, as that develops and continues along, you will see, and I'll make sure that we go back to the 850 millibar level, you will kind of see how this all evolves here on Earth null. So at the 700 millibar level, we are currently approximately maybe about 2 miles above the ocean surface. And then here at the 500 millibar level, we are approximately 3 miles above the ocean surface. So as we can see, though, at the 500 millibar level, we're starting to get signals of that little area of shower and thunderstorm, this mid-level disturbance. And if I pop back over here to the full screen, just to kind of give everybody a highlight, that's what this feature is. All right, so this is not a surface feature. We'll come back down to the surface. There is a little bit of uplift, but there's not any rotation associated with it. All right, it's more of a mid-level feature at this point. And as you can see, it's got a good area of upper level divergence where the air escapes at the top. So that's why you've got a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity. And the 250 millibar level is approximately 6 miles above the atmosphere, or not above the atmosphere, smack, in the atmosphere above the ocean surface. So now we're going to come back down to the surface, and we are going to take this forward 24 hours. Now, as you can see at this point, at the surface, do we separate from the trough? Now, we come up to the 850 millibar level, up 1 mile, and there are some kind of features there to where it could still be associated with the frontal boundary, but with the way that low pressure center was off to its north and to its east, and especially when we get one starting to develop, as you can see here, we've got kind of a roll and a kink in the winds. This is the area that we're going to have to watch right there. Now, as I continue to roll this forward, now again, the upper level winds, as you can see, we don't have a lot of upper level winds associated with this area is going to kind of begin to break off and branch off, with also this little disturbance and wave kind of approaching as well. Now we're going to take this forward another 24 hours. So now here we are 48 hours off into the future on the GFS model. And as you can see, we're starting to get a little bit of some type of circulation here, associated with the exiting of what would be Dexter at this point in time. This is what we're going to have to watch. Now, if you look out here, we have also our little disturbance and wave that we're watching come off the coast of Africa. So let me erase this. We'll come up to the 850 millibar level, and it kind of shows it a little clearer, but we need this to get out of the way. Okay, and then there's our area of interest down here. As soon as this gets out of the way, that will leave this the opportunity to maybe do a little something. And if we look at the upper level winds, we'll come back down to the 850 and put our trusty green circle there. And our upper level winds might not be in the worst environment, a marginally conducive environment for tropical cyclone development, because as you can see, not all the winds are going in the same similar direction. Okay, so there could be a little bit of shear depending on where it is located. And you can never trust one run of one model. So now we're going to come forward another 24 hours. Now, at this point, we're out 72 hours into the future. As you can see, kind of that old stalled out frontal boundary is here. We've got multiple areas of vorticity rolling in and around it. And then if we bring it up to the 250 millibar level, as you can see, again, maybe not a lot of shear, but now what is beginning to happen is one of two things are going to occur. We have this high pressure here. Now, if this were to slide over some, we could end up with this kind of running up the coast. All right, if that doesn't slide over enough, then the Bermuda High out here is going to take whatever this system is and potentially drive it back into the southeastern, the Carolina region. It is way too early to tell, and it's not a guarantee that this area is even going to try to get any type of tropical characteristics to it. But the National Hurricane Center has a 020 on it. Now, as you can see, the most recent GFS potentially wants to run it this way and doesn't allow that other high pressure to build back in far enough to be able to kind of give it this little bit of a steering flow and block it from getting in this way. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Okay, it's nothing to get overly concerned with. Just make sure you check back with the National Hurricane Center, as these old stalled out homegrown frontal bound systems can change kind of rather quickly, and sometimes they don't change at all. But when they do, kind of like take 95L. This morning it was 40. At the 2 a.m. it was 40, and then it went 50, and now it's at 70. So things can change, in a very short period of time. When you went to bed last night, that area off the East Coast with Invest 95L was at 30%. Then you wake up this morning, it has increased to 50, and here this afternoon now it's 70. So it's just a good reminder to make sure that you check back with the National Hurricane Center, and see what the forecast of this particular system is going to be. This Dexter or whatever Invest 95L, that's not a threat to land. And as you can see out here in the main development region, this upper level trough right here, this is changing the wind flow across the basin. As you can see with the 500 millibar level about 3 miles up, our area of interest would be right in this region, and the winds, the flow, the steering flow wants to take this up and over. That's going to be huge, because if that does that, then we have no threat to these folks here. And then some of those long range social media hypers that were talking about, oh, here it comes, there it goes, and your credibility along with it. So you have to make sure that you follow official sources, folks. That's why we use nothing but the National Weather Service Office and the National Hurricane Center in relaying our information. We'll go over the models with you. We have no problem with that, but you always follow the official forecast. So getting back to our area over here off the East Coast, as you can see, this is as far out as Earth Null is going to go. And it's a little bit too close for comfort. As you can see here, we're trying to get it out of the way, but it's moving awfully slow. And unfortunately, there would most likely be a lot of inclement weather and rain associated with, along with rip currents and potentially some onshore flow here and localized coastal flooding if this were to materialize this way. So regardless of development, it's something that we're definitely going to have to watch. Dawn, I don't know if you're in the live here or not. Let me see. Is Dawn in the live? Steven's here. Good evening, everybody. I've got, we have hooked up the other monitor here, so I can see the comments, and if anybody's got any questions, I will be able to monitor them. But that's pretty much what the basin is doing right now. So timing wise, if this can get up before this exits out this way, this system's going this direction. If this stays really, really weak, all right, if we come down to the 850 millibar level, the flow is still like this. If we come to the 700 millibar level, as you can see, there is a little bit of kind of the rippling, and it does want to take it up this way, but it all depends on how high and what latitude this can get to. Right now, on this solution, this is high enough to take advantage of that. But if it stays really weak and it doesn't really kind of stand up on that monsoon trough and it bring it up higher, then we may end up trying to be able to squeak that underneath this, and we don't want that. So, taking a look at the models over the next 7 days, the euro is in agreement. This is the regular euro, not the AI. And as you can see, they're in regular agreement of this pulling northward, gaining a lot of latitude and being out here into the central Atlantic from the main development region. We've got our Invest 95L, running out to the northern Atlantic, and then a couple members, as you can see, kind of potentially drifting back towards the coast. It really all depends on where it's at and when it develops, if it develops at all. So it's certainly going to be one to watch. If I run this out to 8 days, as you can see, 9 and then 10, we didn't really get a lot more, and though we've got the potential for something else into the main development region. Again, folks, it's that time of year. Looking at the AI model. Now, the AI model wants to slip this other area. It wants to slip it potentially a little bit further. It doesn't develop it early like this and allow it to take this more northerly track. The AI wants to kind of level it out and take it this way. And there may be reason to that may occur, and that's going to be dealing with the Saharan air layer. As you can see here with the AI, it is also Euro's AI. It's also calling for the potential of development and down here around the Florida Peninsula. Now, keep in mind the O20 is out here into the southwestern Atlantic. One thing that I can tell you is that the trends from this particular model have been working slowly back towards the east to come in line with where the National Hurricane Center is calling for the potential of development. So if you'd have looked at this a few days ago, it was out here into the Gulf primarily. And now it's been slowly ticking itself back up and is working its way back into the southwestern Atlantic. So if we look at day 8, day 9, day 10. So again, if this thing were to slip, then we might get an angle, allowing this to kind of get through to the next opportunity to get around the high pressure. It could get a little too close for comfort, but it's not necessarily looking that way. The AI models, keep in mind, AI models are still kind of new. They're learning. So will they eventually, be very, very good? Yes, absolutely. Are they still prone to mistakes? Yes, absolutely. They're not always going to get them right. So please don't just look at one model and be like, oh, well, that model said that we're going to get a storm. What about the other models? I mean, it kills me every time I see somebody sharing like, oh, look at the icon. The icon is calling for a major hurricane or something like that. And come on, guys. We don't even have anything out there, and yet we're trying to call for one operational run. That's why we have ensembles, to kind of work our way through the variabilities and uncertainties, because each ensemble is tweaked just slightly different from the other ones, and it gives us a wide variety of solutions to be able to cover some of that uncertainty. And that it's a lot more helpful than just getting one answer from an operational model when you don't have anything developed already. So if we're looking at day 8 with the GEFS, day 7, day 8, day 9, day 10. So again, if this were to take this more northerly track, it is really no threat. If this were to get underneath and potentially out a little further, then it could be a cause for concern. But right now, we don't necessarily see that in the cards. Now, we also have the Google DeepMind model. And for folks that, if you would like to know more about this, give me second here. I'm going to show you where to go for information regarding the Google DeepMind model, if Facebook will load. It says it did. There we go. Okay. Maybe. Let's see. So if you come to the NTWC website, please, by all means, give them a follow and watch this live stream right here. As you can see, I was already commenting in it, and I asked a question in it, and this, I cannot stress this enough. This was an absolutely fascinating breakdown of what this model can do. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the craziness of what it can do, but I can promise you we will before the end of the season. So right now, this is their experimental model. And if we run this forward, let me zoom out just a little bit so we can grab the wave down here. Yeah, that's good enough. So as I begin to bring this forward, as you could see, we do have the potential development. Now keep in mind, there's 50 ensemble members here. We don't have 50 dots, okay? So not all of the ensemble members are calling for that to do, something fantastic or fascinating. But as we continue to run this forward, there are a couple dots that make it out here, but not a lot. And if we continue to run this forward, here comes the next wave and the next pocket of potential. All right. Now, there is one thing that I am going to do, and James will kind of like this. So you can only really do this on a computer. If you find that next pocket of potential and that next pocket of waves, you can highlight it, and then it will give you the individual ensemble members of your max wind speed and your sea level pressure, just to get an idea of what each one of the ensemble members could potentially show. It's a very valuable tool. I've played with this one quite a bit, and this model is different from any other model that you've ever seen and that you've ever used in your entire life. This goes off of strictly atmospheric pattern recognition. It is not physics-based. It is not numerical-based. It's amazing what these folks have done. And if you get an active storm and you click on it, as you can see, each one of the ensemble member tracks, you can kind of get a consensus on going there. And, it's very helpful. But as we can see, there is definitely a little bit of a signal out here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off our wind speed colors. So this way I can turn them all on. And this basically has all of their ensemble models in it all at once. So this is going to get crazy. Keep in mind. So as we can see, there is some signal out here, especially with the Euro, the regular Euro, right here, ensemble based. We do have some. We've got model consensus here. We've got multiple different colors out here to where we could see potential development. And then the ensemble, because it was running off of the 6Z, and not the 12Z, why we don't have the 12Z on all of this just yet. It runs off of the Euro and initializes off of it. But as you can see, as we run this forward, we've definitely got signal of potential activity with another, strong wave potential here. And then anything kind of working its way along the intertropical convergence zone. And by the time that we get out this far, there is so much uncertainty baked within the system that's why you see them spread out all over the place. They start out here nice and, kind of clumped together, and then everything just kind of scatters. And it's all depending on whether it takes this northern track or whether it can actually take a southern track. So just, things to kind of go over, food for thought. It's just that time of year. Right now, we don't have an imminent threat of tropical cyclone landfall, but there is cause for concern out here into the southwestern Atlantic that we just need to check back on. That's all. Nothing to get too overly worried. If you don't have your hurricane kit completed, now's the time. We're getting into August. For folks here in the state of Florida, disaster supplies are now permanent tax holiday on them. You don't have to wait for a specific week or 2 weeks out of the year. No, it's year round, permanent. So check with your local emergency management. They will definitely have all of that information available, especially on their social media accounts. Taking a look at our dust. As you can see, we will run our dust model, and there is quite a bit. Now, you start to see these little pockets of, kind of moisture developing, and the dust is what looks to be breaking down as we get into about day 4. Keep in mind, we've got our little area out here that we're going to be watching, but right about that time, and as it starts to kind of exit, we get a very strong plume of dust that could turn around and kind of relock the basin down. As you can see, we've got a little bit of rotation with our next wave coming off here, and it is buried in this dust. So we do know that eventually this dust is going to back off, but right now it doesn't look like that it's going to do it immediately. We're still going to get a little bit. Our increase in activity is directly linked to the Madden-Julian Oscillation and its approach into the Atlantic, Eastern Pacific, and Atlantic Basin. As you can see, I'll show you here in a second with the Eastern Pacific, we should have had a named storm out there. And right now we don't. And we should, but we don't. I thought for sure we were going to get something at the 5, but National Hurricane Center, hey, they're the experts. They know better. They've got certain criteria and classification and more resources. So if it didn't reach it, it didn't reach it. It hasn't reached that threshold yet, but we've certainly got one in the Atlantic and one in the Eastern Pacific that are bona fide candidates for tropical cyclone. And as we can see here, right now we've got our MJO pulse in phase 1, right here. We're right there. The forecast is for this to kind of creep through, maybe fall back into the circle, which would be nice, but some of the ensemble members keep it out this way. Keep in mind, when we're in phase 2 and getting in over here towards phase 3, this is the African mainland. So anything kind of in this region right in here, I'd say right in this region, maybe right here, this has to do with the African mainland. This is where the seeds of our waves come from. So just because we finally get it out of the Atlantic Basin doesn't mean that we don't have leftover remnants of increased energy coming off of the African mainland in response to the passage of the MJO. So please keep that in mind as we go forward. Now, if we take a look at the Global Tropics Hazards Outlook, we have multiple areas. Again, it is that time of year. The tropics are definitely starting to heat up. And as you can see, August 6th through August 12th, we've got an area highlighted here along the kind of the stalled out frontal boundary, eastern Gulf of Mexico, and getting into the southwestern Atlantic, Bahamas region, and stuff like that. We see that on the models. Now, if we look from August 13th to August 19th, we don't have that same feature here in the southwestern Atlantic, Gulf of Mexico again, but now we're starting to see main development region signals. So it's going to have to be, again, we're right on schedule, folks. We're literally right on schedule with the tropics. It's actually been quiet as far as the development goes, and the intensity of what we've seen so far this season in the Atlantic Basin. But as far as kind of the signals and everything, we're right on schedule. Jumping out to the Eastern Pacific, as you could see, it should be pretty noteworthy right there. That is Invest 90E. And this thing has definitely got a look. It's got great banding. Was kind of surprised that they didn't really pop this thing at the 5. I mean, it looks good. So I would not be surprised at the 11 p.m. advisory that we get something on this. Tropical depression, whatever. I haven't looked at scatterometer data or anything like that, so I really have no idea what the wind speeds are out here on this. It's really no threat to land. So, and if you look up here, this is old Hurricane Gil, and it's pretty much a naked swirl of just low-level clouds, and it's trying. It's on its deathbed. It's already post-tropical. It is no longer firing a warm core of any sorts. So it's over cool waters, and it is toast. As you can see, post-tropical cyclone. Final advisory was issued earlier at the 11 a.m. So if we take a look here, this is Invest 90E. Again, this has a 90% chance of development over the next 48 hours, 7 days, like today. And then if we look here, this is disturbance number 2. This has a 50% chance of development over the next 7 days, near zero over the next 48 hours. That is associated with this mass of cloud cover right here. As this were to propagate out this way, it will find more conducive conditions in this region. And development, again, at 50%. Wouldn't be surprised if it actually pulled it off. Okay, when looking at the spaghetti plots, I wanted to make sure that I pulled them up on Invest 90E just to make sure that we weren't going to be dealing with any Hawaiian mischief out here. Looks to be cruising off to the north and to the northeast, and then eventually to the north. So no true threat there to the Hawaiian Islands. Jumping out to the Western Pacific, we have got all sorts of activity going on out here. It's been very active over the last 2 weeks. There's been a lot of mess out here. We've got Baliu and Karosa, I guess if that's how you pronounce that. As you can see, this is Karosa, 45 knots, and then is expected to weaken as it begins to approach some of the islands out here. That earthquake, by the way, took place in this region right here. So as you can see, the storm is kind of close to that region. They've got volcanoes going off now, and it's just an absolute overall mess over there for those folks there in Russia. I feel for the residents. And as you can see, right on the heels of Karosa is Baliu, or however you pronounce this thing. As you can see, Karosa is kind of up here in this region, and this one is right on its heels and will be exiting off to the north and to the east in rapid succession. So at least they're getting rid of some of that stuff out there right now, but that's not a guarantee that it's going to stay that way. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to check and see if we don't have any. I don't see any questions. Let me make sure. All right. Well, that's about all I've got for tonight, folks. We'll jump back on this tomorrow night. I think we'll have a little bit better information tomorrow as we get Dexter to do its thing. Well, eventual Dexter to do its thing, and then get itself on the board, get its activity going, get that wave off of the African coastline so we can get it out over the open waters and see how it reacts to that and the dust that is prevalent. We'll see if we get our new name system out here in the Eastern Pacific, and we'll have a little bit more modeling for this area out here into portions of the southwestern Atlantic, just to see if we can get a little bit more information than what we have right now. And before I let everybody go, I am going to check one other thing because I just thought about it. I'm going to pull up the model blend and for the southeastern United States, and I just want to see what our total precipitation is over the next 10 days. So, okay, so let's run this out. So that stalled out frontal boundary continues to just leave remnant rain, but we don't see a significant, a major increase in anything into the Carolinas. So that might not be a bad thing. But I'll be checking this just to see exactly how the rain um, evolves, and just not to confuse anybody. I've got to pull up the Weather Prediction Center. This is the southeastern United States over the next 7 days. So the model blend was not a official forecast. This is the official forecast. So, all right, everybody. Yep, we'll be live. I would imagine we'll be live tomorrow night. This is the new run, by the way. Well, we'll definitely be live tomorrow night. I know that 95L is not going away, and then our MDR spot has already got 40%, so we're clear of the threshold on 2 of the systems, with one of them being a long-term potential. So, yep, we're live with you guys for the foreseeable future, and we will be live. Let me get back to home. Okay, it don't want to let me. We will be live every single night this season. I posted this to the Facebook page, and it's pinned to the top of our page. We will be live from August 15th to October 31st on Facebook and YouTube, regardless of development percentages this season. We're going live 77 days straight. Starting August 15th, we're guaranteed live at least once a day. So this way we'll help combat some of the misinformation, some of the hype, and all that other stuff. So you guys will be able to, we'll be able to break it down with everybody if you guys want. So, all right, I will talk to everybody tomorrow night, and stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Good night.